The hoods of these assassins is one of the most iconic things in the entire industry. If you ever see a menacing figure standing on a rooftop with a hood on, you're probably dead already. I mean, there was a time when if you say Assassin's Creed, the first image people would get in their head would be a man wearing a hood. That's literally how impactful it is even to this date. And despite this aspect being so influential, the creators have taken away even this marquee feature. Now can you believe that? At this point it's become beyond symbolic. It's literally an extension of the assassins themselves. You can call me a hardcore fan of the franchise without a doubt, especially with the amount of videos I make on this topic. You can see that I'm a die-hard fan. And as a fan, I can tell you without a doubt that we definitely don't want to see our favorite ethical murderers wear a stupid old helmet. If a cloth isn't covering their head, well then it's not an assassin in my opinion. So with most of you having seen the thumbnail and all of that being said, today we're gonna rank every single assassin outfit. Now before we begin, I would like to tell you I'm not even gonna include Cassandra or Ivor, because first and foremost, they are not assassins. They might be demigods, immortal warriors, reincarnations, whatever, but they are not assassins. Because an assassin simply isn't a word anymore. It's a rank. It's something that people have to earn. And I don't think Cassandra or Ivor even wanted to. So I'm definitely not gonna include them in this list. And add to the fact they never wore an assassin robe to begin with, but they definitely don't get a spot on this list. So if you're fans of these characters, I would like to apologize, but you'd understand exactly why I'm doing it. Now let's start the rankings, guys. Number 9, Evie Frye. Calling Jacob's outfit an assassin robe is kind of a long shot, although he does have the hood, but that simply is not enough, because the man is just wearing a long overcoat and somewhere in there there's a hood. That's about it. It lacks innovation and is so freaking bland. The coat is definitely similar to the kinds that people were wearing back in the day in London, I agree, but except for the nice little English touch, there's nothing iconic about this robe and he's last on this list. Next, number 8, Evie Frye. You might ask me why she's ahead of Jacob. The simple answer is she looks much better in her assassin robe than Jacob does. Any day. Evie Frye, if nothing else, is classy at the very least. And her outfit not only complements her beautiful build, but when she pulls the cloth over her head, she definitely has that menacing factor. That is something I feel is missing in Jacob, and especially with him switching hats and the hood all the time. See, realistically, it's not like if you just pull a cloth on your head, no one's gonna recognize you. That's quite stupid if you ask me, but not in Evie's case. Although hers is more of a coat and not an entire robe, the outfit still suits her and this woman definitely deserves to wear it. Next, number 7, Edward Kenway. Well, first let's talk about the outfit he stole from Duncan Walpole after he killed him. So technically he didn't even own them, but in a manner of speaking, he definitely owned them. Did he look the part in that outfit or what? See, this is where the excellence of the design team of Ubisoft comes into play. The moment he dons the assassin robes, you can literally make out that this man was born to wear them. They've made this costume look as good as they humanly can on him. When his journey began, this man was wearing a blue robe with a white shirt within and a hood. That was probably the basic assassin outfit an Englishman would wear. The functionality could be questioned, but that's not something we're talking about today. But as far as the assassin robes go, the symbolization is definitely amazing. Not only is blue the color of the ocean in the Caribbean, the color blue often represents wisdom. And since it did not possess any of that, in my mind it also represents the fact that Edward was just putting on a show, all for monetary benefit of course. And with that same point in mind, let's talk about his actual assassin costume, the one he earned. It was kind of a black and white assassin robe. The sleeves were black, the lower part was grey and his hood was white. And add to that the unhealthy number of guns this man carries, you have the perfect pirate. And at the same time you also have the most devilish looking assassin. Next, number 6, Shay Cormac. You know the very way that Shay Patrick's outfit is designed, it has a certain air of rebellion. And before anyone tells me that he was a Templar and not an assassin, let me remind you that he was definitely a dedicated soldier to the Creed in his early days. And it was the actions of the assassins themselves that drove him away. So he definitely was an assassin no matter how brief the period was. He was one and that cannot be taken away from him. As much as he'd like that to be taken away, but the point here is his robes are just so perfect for him. See, he's a big man. He has broad shoulders and an amazing build, and his robes definitely do justice to his extremely muscular and fit body. And not just that, the audacity of this man is almost enigmatic. You feel attracted towards his rebellious and rogue nature, and he shows off that perfectly by wearing the Templar robes and then putting a hood on his head and signaling that he'll do whatever the hell he wants and nobody can stop him. His costume is more of a statement fashion than an outfit, a statement made in the assassin's face. Next, number 5, Altair. Now we're gonna take into account the outfit he used to wear early in his days, not once he became mentor, because throughout the entirety of Assassin's Creed 1, we only see him in those white iconic robes. So talking about his mentor robes would not make sense here, but his long white clothing with a hood is one of the most iconic in the entire series and also in the entire gaming industry. He started it all. The hood, the hidden blade, the leap of faith, the whole shebang. This man kicked off this entire series. And comparatively, I feel Altair's robes are one of the most functional and realistic at the same time, because the assassins of today are literally carrying gear that would weigh hundreds of pounds if not more. 2 axes, 2 hidden blades, 2 bows, hundreds of arrows. And then there's the throwing knives, the bombs, the bullets, the daggers, the swords, and everything you can imagine on them. And that, as you know, is definitely not realistic. I mean, for God's sake, Bayek even has a shield, so it's really far from realism. But such was definitely not the case with Altair's robes. He kept exactly as much equipment as a man could carry realistically. You know, a hidden blade, a sword, throwing knives, and a little extra equipment upon that, and nothing else. But he's not ranked this highly because of the real life accuracies. He's 5th because his outfit is probably the most recognizable next to Ezio's, and the iconic nature of this costume really propels it this high. Next, number 4, Arno Dorian. The colors of this man's robes is literally that of a French soldier, and the moment you lay eyes on him, you can say that he's French. His robes are one of the absolute best. We want the outfit to represent exactly what the person wearing it represents. We don't want the robes to be so far away from the person wearing it that we start feeling like he hired it for Comic Con. Now that would be a disaster, but such is not the case with Arno Dorian's costume. It just looks perfect on him. Plus there's a very neat little detail. His robes are blue, his shirt is white, and he wears a red belt and a red scarf. And as you must have guessed by now, the blue, white and red are the colors of the flag of France. Well, kudos to the creators because they've done an excellent job with this design. Although he's 4th on this list, his robes are probably my favorite. Next, number 3, Bayek of Siwa. This man doesn't exactly have an assassin robe, but the outfit he wears is simply stunning. He was the founding father of the assassins, and not only did he and Aya realize that having a hood over your head is an amazing idea, especially when you're in the sands of Egypt, they also realized that that would help them hide their identity, which is probably the most important function of these hoods. So if you take Assassin's Creed history into account, this man made the hoods iconic. Well, he should get a lot of credit for that, and we are giving it to him by giving him the number 3 spot. Bayek's outfit is clearly being given a lot of attention and time. I'll tell you why. As I said before, his hood protects him from the scorching sun and kinda helps him hide his face. Well, he was the founding father of the Hidden Ones, so yeah. And then when you go down, you see a sort of a collar and an eagle necklace. Now, eagles being the most ancient representation of the assassins, and the collar gives the entire outfit a nice Egyptian touch and also acts as a breastplate. So it's a really neat looking Egyptian armor. And then there's a red belt. The iconic red color never fails to lead the assassins. It's been there in almost every costume if you notice. So if you take the Assassin's Creed history into account, every other assassin that came after Bayek actually copied him. And this man's outfit is just impeccable. Next, number 2, Ezio Auditore. Well, first let's talk about the outfit he wore in Assassin's Creed 2. Well, actually they didn't even belong to him, it was his father's. And that was the legacy Giovanni Auditore passed down to his son. And the costume is literally picture perfect. Not only is it reminiscent to the kind of clothing people used to wear during the Renaissance era, it has all the classic traits. The red near the waist, the assassin belt, the hood, the white color, the whole 9 yards. It has everything that you would expect in an assassin outfit. And quite honestly, it looks much more comfortable than most of the assassin outfits in the series. It's not needlessly lengthy and it is quite fashionable. And you know what, honestly, next to Altair's, Ezio's is probably the one other costume that made the hood so iconic. So he definitely deserves bonus points for that. And now let's talk about the outfit he wore in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This one is just an all-time classic. And is probably the most complete assassin outfit in the entire series. See, by this point in Ezio's life, he was a mentor, and he more than looks the part in this. The robes really just amplify the entire character of Ezio, from the beautiful red near his collar and the regal cape. I'd like to say that I really liked the cape in both Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. It kinda gave these assassins a superhero feel, and I really enjoyed that. Plus, I've seen a lot of people use these exact robes as skins in other Assassin's Creed games, but no one could wear it the way Ezio did. definitely not someone like Alexio's. See, this outfit represents something great. Rebelliousness in the face of tyranny, courage and hope. And they represent this because Ezio made it so. And it's out and out iconic in every way possible. And then comes Ezio's Revelations outfit. As you can see, he's ditched the white for grey. But honestly speaking, these robes really complement his older age. And he looks more like a lone wolf in them. And that's exactly what he'd become by this point in his life. He wanted to find out the truth about Altair. And there's also so many nice little details in this outfit. For example, he's wearing a scarf around his neck to keep himself warm in the cold weathers of Masyaf. And there's fur on his shoulders, but I'd assume that's for warmth as well. And despite the costume and the character designs having really changed, they've still kept the marquee assassin red belt. And Ezio looks every bit the mentor that he's supposed to. And although the costume in Brotherhood is my favorite in the Ezio trilogy, the Revelations one is not inferior in any way. And now number 1, Connor Kenway. This man's outfit is probably the most detailed in the entire series. It definitely deserves the top spot, and once I'm done telling you every bit of detail, you'd understand exactly why. Start off at the top, the hood. It's classic assassin white, but there's one attribute that many people might have missed. The very tip of his hood has an eagle on it. And even though Ezio's hood had the same thing, the one that Connor has is a tad bit more special. Not only does the eagle represent the assassins, the eagles were also held in high regard by Connor's people. It's almost like the beak of an eagle. And then there's the necklace he wears that represents the Kani and Kahaka people. The classic white shirt. And the rest of his robe is white as well. There's another bit of detail here. The robe has a blue lining. Now that could be a nod to his grandfather Edward Kenway and the Caribbean seas, or it could be because he was affiliated with the Patriots and the Patriots wore blue. And you come down a little bit more and you see not only the extremely recognizable red cloth near his waist, but also an old school belt with the assassin symbol on it. And I'd like to add a small point to this. I absolutely loved the tomahawk, the blade of which was made with the assassin symbol. It could not get better. The tomahawk is probably one of the aspects I missed the most from Assassin's Creed 3. And the reason I ranked this robe so high is because it represents everything he stood for and fought for. The assassins, his people, the patriots, his ancestors, everything and everyone is somehow connected to this costume, and is easily the best assassin robe in the entire freaking series. Well, we've reached the end, guys. I want everyone to tell me exactly which assassin robe you loved the most. Also tell me down in the comment section below what you thought of the list. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. That way you can really support the channel without spending a penny. And if you find the time and are an Assassin's Creed fan, please visit the channel. There's a lot of Assassin's Creed content there. And do not forget to subscribe because a lot more content is on its way. But that's all for today, guys. It's your boy VZX signing out.